October 26th. Today I'm going to be running an automated strategy that I just built yesterday. Made a quick strategy using the strategy builder built into NinjaTrader. It only trades between 10 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. for just a half hour. I did some tests on the ES for the month of October with a 2-to-1 take profit ratio, target of 40, stop at 20. Pulled in 2,700 just in the month of October so far. This is on a 5-minute ES. I've got a little ES chart trading in sim right here. I've got the strategy attached to it. So I'm just going to put it on the background and not even look at it till after 10:30. See if it took a trade. See, this only took 13 trades so far in October. I've also got the same kind of strategy coded in on my candlesticks today. I'm doing this using the moving average crossover indicator that I have from Ninja. It paints the candlesticks when I have a moving average crossover. In this case, I've got a moving average crossover attached to an oscillator that's hidden down here, but it's still painting the candlesticks red or green even though I've got it all hidden. I've got it on 3 different time frames, a 15-minute, a 1-minute, and a 5-minute. Then I've just got my base levels and VWAP, some Bollinger Bands. Got about 8 minutes to the open. Well, I outperformed my robot today. 1057, up a little over 900 bucks. I got 2 150K Apex accounts I'm working on. Someone used my Apex code. That makes me so happy. So I decided to do another market review video since at least one person is out there enjoying it. That's cool. So this candle that closed at 10:45 on the 15-minute, I mean, look at all these wicks for the past 3 candles, but especially this one. At the close of this candle, I hopped in a long targeting VWAP. It went a lot further than that. That was a pretty bullish 15-minute candle right there, that huge wick. This big juicy candle that closed at 10 on the 15-minute, that was a very bearish candle, full bodied to the downside, and we came down and tested the lower Bollinger Band, broke through S1. This candle closed below the 20 SMA, below VWAP, closed below the opening 15-minute range, had a bunch of delta coming in to the downside here, got a delta dot. So on the 1-minute, I grabbed a couple longs right at the open, just based on the reaction pre-market to the news and everything. We got a little continuation up, this indicator that I just coded that's painting these bars. We had a green candle painted up here, but it was right super close to the yesterday's close line here. So I wasn't looking to take a long, especially after this huge move down that we've been experiencing. And then the next candle, it just dumped, and then our candle started painting red. We did finally break below the 20 SMA here on this candle. I wasn't interested in a short at that point. Even when we broke down further below the 20, didn't have a lot of delta follow through or anything. But when it came down to VWAP, I was definitely interested in a bounce trade. I took a long somewhere around there. Got to bounce back up. We got all the way back up to the 20 SMA, the center of the Bollinger Bands. We had a big hold up there, bunch of wicky candles. Then it resumed its downtrend. And at this point, we're starting to get a lot of delta coming in on these 1-minute candles, and it just keeps drifting lower. Started getting some green candles. Price was just chopping around. We had a lot of delta coming in on this candle right before 10:30, and when we had a retracement back down, there really wasn't any delta coming in to the downside. So once we got close to the lower Bollinger Band, we had a nice bounce up. Here we had a cross above the 20 SMA. Candles turn back green. We start to get a bunch of positive delta coming in, and we made it up and above VWAP, closed above VWAP, retraced back to VWAP, went up a little bit more. Here's the current action that I'm missing out on. We had our candle starting to turn red, had a close below VWAP, then we came down 20 points so far. On the 5-minute chart, we had this big reaction to the news, a lot of delta coming in, 8:30, green candles, price moved up. Super indecisive candle on the first 5-minute candle, just wicks on both sides, and price came back down. We had our candle starting to turn red, so if I had that 5-minute strategy on this early in the morning, it would have definitely taken me out. Would have gotten at the bottom of this candle and whipped up and taken me out. That's why I put that strategy only to operate between 10 and 10:30. Might try out some other time frames too. We had some nice delta coming in on this 5-minute candle. I remember getting in on a short after I saw that delta on the 5-minute candle, and we were moving below the VWAP. Made it down to S1. Then over here you can see we have some major delta coming in, and price started moving back up here. I also wanted to share just a little bit of information on the indicator and the strategy that I was using today. Might be a interesting idea for someone to try out if you're bored and looking for new things to entertain yourself. I based it all on a moving average attached to an oscillator. And you could use any kind of oscillator, RSI, MACD, CCI, stochastics, volume oscillator, whatever you want. And then you can choose a moving average, like a SMA or EMA. So when you attach your moving average, change the period to whatever you want. And under input series, you go to edit input, and you go into the indicators. And for the input, you want the input to be your oscillator. So I've got an RSI on my chart. Make sure the plot is the actual oscillator. So this is now my input series for this moving average. And then you want to see which panel your oscillator is in. Mine's in panel 2. So I'm going to change this moving average. I want it to be also in panel 2. And now we have a moving average attached to this oscillator, this RSI. So you can see in the morning the RSI crossed above the moving average we have. Price popped up about 25 points or so. And then we have a close below on this candle. RSI closed below the moving average. And it stayed below all morning. We had this nice move down. Got a little choppy here, but our RSI is mostly above this moving average. We had a nice little pop up there. Same here, crossed down below, had a little bit of a dip, crossed above, stayed above, had a nice rip up. Over here, crossed below, we're experiencing some nice down moves. So it's something you might want to play around with, put a moving average on an oscillator, see what happens. I also just wanted to point out that even though I'm kind of always using a new element in a lot of these review videos, I've still got my core set up with the main things that I look for. I got the volume profile, I got my favorite moving averages, I've got the pivot points, I've got VWAP, I've got volume, I've got order flow and delta. That stays the same. And then, one element or one chart I'll mess around with. I always like learning new things and trying out new ideas. And I finally, got to the point where I can satisfy that itch without strategy hopping left and right. I've still got my main strategies in my playbook that I'm always looking for. Anyways, just another quick little market review. Hopefully you got some good ideas on how to use VWAP and Bollinger Bands and moving averages and pivot points and order flow. Apex is having another one of their huge crazy sales, 90% off till November 7. So if anyone feels inspired to use my coupon code there, that would be amazing. Hope you got something good out of watching my market review. Best of luck in your trading. Have a great day.